fear. You must conquer your fears, or fear will consume you. I tell you, living in a traumatic situation or living in fear can do serious damage to your body and to your health. So listen, I have a little story I want to tell you about. Hey everybody, Miss Deb here, coming to you from my home office in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Hope you're having a wonderful day or night, whatever time it is where you're at. Um, Today I'd like to talk with you a little bit about fear and overcoming fear. What I'd like to start off with is just a little story about myself. Now, as a child, I lived in a very dysfunctional family. My very first mistake was being born a girl. My dad wanted another son. He didn't want a daughter. And he even told me when I got older that he couldn't love me like he loved my brother because Bruce was his son. Now, I have also learned, now that I've gotten older, from some of the neighbors in the neighborhood, my dad was not a very nice man. Not many people really liked him. I can tell you that I felt he was a mean man, and I was very afraid of him. He also seemed to like to do little things to scare me. I'm not saying that he really did it on purpose. He probably didn't realize what terror and fear he was putting into my brain. Now, I can remember, as I said, my folks had not a very good marriage, and they used to go down into the basement to argue, because I guess they thought my brother and I couldn't hear them upstairs, but I'd hear them through the vents. And I'd go and stand at the top of the stairs and cry. I was fearful that my dad was going to hurt my mom. And one night, I even witnessed some of this abuse that he imposed on my mother. I think they had been downstairs arguing, and my bedroom happened to be right across the hall from the bathroom. Well, my mom came up and she went into the bathroom, and just a few minutes after that, my dad bust open the door, pulled my mom up off the toilet, and you know what? I don't remember what happened after that. That's part of, being fearful. Um, and because I lived in such a traumatic, fearful home life, it also affected me in school. When I was in grade school, there was one girl who seemed to be in my class every daggone year, and she used to bully me. Of course, back then, teachers didn't do anything about bullying, so, I just had to put up with it. And the reason I'm telling you this is because if you are a fearful person and you're afraid of things like I was as a child, I was afraid of almost everything. When you are fearful, you bring more fear to yourself. And that's exactly what I did. Now, it's even said that children or people who go through a traumatic situation, a lot of times grow up or become uh, someone that suffers from panic attacks and anxiety. Well, I happen to be one. I've suffered with panic attacks and anxiety since I was probably about 13 years old. My parents divorced actually when I was around 10. I was so glad that my dad was gone. But he took my brother with him. And so my brother and I didn't really grow up together, and my mom never ever saw her son again. I remember when my parents were going through their divorce, my brother and I had to go down and talk with the judge and tell him who we wanted to live with and why. And of course, I told him I wanted to live with my mom. I was scared of my dad. I didn't like him. And again, later on in life, my mom told me that the judge told her that my brother had said things about her that a child of his age shouldn't have any knowledge of. I don't know what these things were. But the judge felt that my dad had more or less brainwashed my brother against my mother. Um, Now, my mom died when I was 20, and she never ever got to see her son again, and that's a real shame. I have gone through many other traumatic situations, which I'm not really ready to go through all of it. Well, I can tell you a few. Okay, I'm going to go real quick with this. So, after my parents divorced, it was about in the middle of the 8th grade that I started to actually have panic attacks. Now, this was back in the 1960s, and they didn't really know anything about panic attacks. So what would happen to me is I would be in my class, go to first hour, and the minute the teacher shut the door, this horrible, horrible, fearful feeling came over me. I felt dizzy. My heart raced. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I felt like I wasn't real. That was the only way I could explain it. And I thought I was going to die. So I raised my hand and told the teacher I didn't feel well, went down to the office and told the counselor what was going on. And she said to me, okay, well, listen, here's what I want you to do. You can sit in the office and in the counseling office, and when you feel like you can go back into your classroom, just get up and go back to class. Well, I never felt like I could go back into my class because you know what it was? It was that fear of the fear. Okay? I had the fear that that was going to happen to me again. It was a very unpleasant feeling. I didn't like it, and I didn't want to go through with it. So the fear snowballed more and more. I couldn't go to class. Well, after I had missed a certain amount of days of school, the counseling or the school system sent me to see a psychiatrist, and then they recommended to my mom that she place me in this home for emotionally disturbed. You can watch the rest of this video by clicking on the link in the description. You can also check out my entire content library or ask me anything by using the hashtag AskMissDeb in the search.